But if I eat carbs as much as Mona eats for the next 8 weeks, what's going to happen?
You fill up again. You get full.
When you diet and you go away from carbohydrates, your body doesn't know how to utilize them. I mean, I'm doing cardio, I'm training, I'm working out, I'm taking a deficit of food, and so I'm doing all these things, and I look like. What's happening? All right, so let me give you the scenario.
Okay.
Made some Skype calls to my one-on-ones. Just kind of going over
the TC3?
The Titan Challenge 3. Yes, sir. TC3 was full effect, going over it. Had some great calls, man. I had some calls, man. This kid from overseas, man, he looks like a Viking. Good-looking kid, young, and his attitude was great. He was like, man, I've been watching you for a while, I've been implementing the exercises, the way I do it, and listening to the approach, and he's made some incredible gains. His great physique.
He's ahead of the game already.
Already ahead of the game. But I could see that he did a couple things that I was very, very proud of him. He watched, he applied it, he saw what worked, and he stayed with those things that worked and then continued forward. That was great. Now, I did have some discussions. That's why I brought you on today. You are my Oprah of the health and fitness world. You are my savior.
Oh.
Yeah. So the great thing about Serge is he's got a very level but always happy attitude. Now, he does this even while he diets and everything. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see that. Now, on the other hand, is that I am in a deficit right now, and I understand that. Worked like a madman, but that being said, got to make the calls, got to talk to these people.
Of course, exactly.
Called a couple people, and one incident was somebody that, like most people, we know that when you diet and you go away from carbohydrates, your body doesn't know how to utilize them. So it's like for you and me, we know that when someone looks like me, getting ready to get on stage, our metabolism isn't working great because of how we look or what you think. It's working great because of
the amount of food you're eating and how often you're eating.
And the exercise, right? I mean, I'm doing cardio, I'm training, I'm working out, I'm taking a deficit of food. And so I'm doing all these things and I look like, if I eat carbs, what happens? If I eat carbs, not for a day or 2 days, but if I eat carbs as much as Mona eats for the next 8 weeks, what's going to happen?
You fill up again. You get full. And then the people that don't know what that means is just that obviously your cuts get filled in, so you don't look as shredded anymore.
I'll bloat.
Exactly.
Most if I jump right to what Mona's eating, I'll just spill over and it'll look terrible. And the reason it will look terrible is because I've taught my body to function
on a deficit without carbs.
So if somebody came to you and said, hey, I don't want to eat carbs, I only eat a small amount of, I guess, fiber in a sense, mostly, just, vegetables,
exactly.
no starchy carbs whatsoever, any carbs, and been doing this for almost a year. Not a year, sorry. 6 months.
Okay.
6 months. Been doing this for 6 months. And said to you, listen, I know where my body is. I don't like carbohydrates. My body doesn't work off the carbs. What was your recommendation?
Well, are they gonna step on stage?
No.
Then eat carbs.
But they want to stay at a certain body weight.
Why would the body weight matter?
Because to them, the body weight, like, and I was trying to explain to me, is mentally we got this emotional attachment to this number, and this number means everything to us. And if I'm this, and I tell Mona, if I'm like 245 on stage, I'll look incredible. And she's like, no, you look like shit. And I'm like, no. And I stay with it, and then I do it, and then I look at the video after. And I go, wow, why didn't you? And she goes, I did tell you. Told you over and over again. 245 is tiny for you and you look terrible.
Yeah. The only time you should worry about a number is if you have to make weight for something. If you're boxing, your wrestling, powerlifting, that's the only time a number should matter. Because you can't compete at that classification if you don't weight a certain way.
So I find that I get back into this habit a lot. I try not to. Is I care more about their health in the long run than they care about it. They're more attached to the moment. They just want to be. I want to look great today, and that's it. That's all that matters to me. If I'm good in this way today and tomorrow, I'm good. And they're not thinking about next year, and they're not going to fix it. So, what was some of your recommendation?
Well, just to get them into the habit of living a healthier lifestyle.
You said a healthier lifestyle. At no point have we said anything about building muscle, getting on stage in the sense of competing. We're just talking about healthy.
Most people don't know how to eat, including myself still. We struggle a little bit. They don't know how to eat because they never been through that phase where they actually ate properly. So all they know about is what other people post. They don't know about what it's like to experience it.
So how can you tell these people that it's not that their bodies right now, yes, if you're going to argue the point, yes, right now your body doesn't know how to utilize carbohydrates. It doesn't mean you can't teach it again.
Exactly.
So,
we're adaptive, so everything you change over time, the body adapts to it.
So there's Serge again. I kind of and I'm not going to do this anymore. I said, fine. If that's what you want to stay in those low carbs, you want to do that way, I'm going to let you do it. I'm not going to change that because they'll continue to diet and train if they do it the way they're liking. So where does it come to, and I guess this isn't even a question you could even answer and I could answer. A person goes to a counselor to seek help, and if they're forced to do it, it doesn't work.
No.
Until they want to go to the counselor, then it works. And so this is kind of the same kind of thing, isn't it? It's like until they decide they want to get healthy.
Yeah.
But when is it too late? Because here's the thing. I'm talking to people from as young as 20, but up to their 50s and 60s and 70s. So if I'm talking to somebody in their 40s and 50s and they go, no, I'm fine, it's going to be easier to change it in 10 years?
No, definitely not. Because you just stick into that same habit.
And you're older.
It's not about wanting to change necessarily. It's more into being open to trying something. Because they're giving you boundaries not because they don't want to change, because they're afraid to try it because they think it won't work. If that makes sense.
It does. I think it does. He's saying you're scared to do it because what happens if that body weight changes?
Exactly.
Then it's
if
gonna.
the number changes, and it's like, oh,
it's bad.
it's the end of the world for them.
Yeah, it's not good. All right, so just for all of you, I know that the fad diets right now is like people are scared of gluten and carbohydrates and stuff, and then you ask me, yeah, you just got to be organic, and then you ask me how Mona or I stay in shape, or others around us like Heath Evans is in shape, and he eats more carbs than anybody. Yeah.
No, don't include
Okay, no Heath Evans, but everybody else. And it's because we teach the body again. The body always has to learn. And we're going to go through these processes. So for everybody out there that's scared of carbohydrates or says that your body doesn't work on carbohydrates, it may not work right now because of how you set it up. It's not that it doesn't work. So
you're scared because you're scarfing down like 3 cheeseburgers a day and all those carbs you think it's a carb, but it's not really just the carbs. It's the way you're eating or the amounts you're eating. You know? Yeah. There's no self-control.
So, like my body right now, off of carbohydrates, I'm training so much and doing so much in a deficit so much to look at this unique, OCD kind of crazy way. But it's going to take me some time to get my body used to carbs again. And I got to teach it again because I can't keep this. Anything you try to hold on to, you can't keep. And you're trying to hold on to this number or this body that you have. You're getting older. All of you are getting older. And so you can't hold on to that body. It has to change. And so I picked up early on that I would always try to get better, no matter what age. I would try to get better. Because talk about maintaining. Because I always talk about maintaining. You can't maintain because you're getting older, so it doesn't work that way.
So you're in a constant state of change. So your maintaining will be adapting to new ways of eating. You know what I mean? So it'll be, the diet's going to be constantly changing. Like those people that only diet down for 1 year for that summertime, expect that same diet to work for them next year. And when it doesn't, they're like, oh, no, I just didn't diet the same way I did last year. But that's not actually the case. It's just that your body has changed now. So now you need to do something new to diet down again.
He just did a Babe Ruth there. He just hit it out of the park right there. You guys know that I talked to Rich Gaspari, and we went into depth on that. And we talked about how we did a diet when we were teenagers. And then we tried to do it in our 20s, and it didn't work. So we had to change it. And so then we tried it in our late 20s, and it didn't work. And so we changed it again. And so it kept moving and changing and moving and changing. But obviously we're getting older. Maybe we're putting on more muscle. Maybe, I don't know, time and we're losing muscle. Whatever it is, you got to keep trying to get better. And I don't know why in my Titan crew, that's all I want from you guys. And I know that I get... and again, I say, I want it more than the individual sometimes. And that frustrates me because I'm talking to somebody going, I don't get that you're not doing this. Compared to the kid I talked to over in Europe. He applied it. He trusts the process. He said 6 years he's been following. 6 years. So that's a long time, but it's not a long time. Before you know it, it goes fast. And me and Mr. Olympia Bryce were talking today. And we were talking about this photo shoot I did with Per Bernal. And we're looking at the photos and stuff. And he goes, how long ago was that? And I go, it was 4 years ago. And he's like, wow, that seems like yesterday.
Yeah. It only seems far in the beginning.
Yeah.
Until after
when you say it. But trust me when I say this. If you start the process now and continue to teach your body to get better, man, you're going to make some huge gains. And you're going to look back, and I know that everybody says this, I guess. They say, when you look back on how far you've come, you're going to go, holy shnikes, I'm glad I did this. And I'm glad I
trusted it and actually followed through,
Isn't he adorable? Adorable. All right, I'm going to go into the second one.
Yeah.
How important is rest day?
Define rest day.
You kicked ass all week, and your body's tired. Your mind's not. And we go back to this now. If you're doing a program, the program's like in this case, 16 weeks.
Okay.
So obviously you hit the gate, run in as fast as you can, 100%, do everything you possibly can, and you keep that same energy for 16 weeks. Is that right?
Yes.
Or would you start a little slower and pick up speed as you go?
Well, if you're in it for something long term, like 16 weeks, then obviously you want to pace yourself because you don't want to be gassed out towards the end of things, because then that just plays in the factor of you not completing the program because you've gone so hard in the beginning.
So when you powerlifted and you did your meets, you did a cycle of maybe 9, 10, 12 weeks, whatever it was. But you started out at your max, or did you start out with something lighter and then working towards it?
65%.
65%. And you guys call me weak for saying 70%. He goes 65% in powerlifting.
And then every week it's a percentage higher and higher. So
the reason why we're trying to say this is you can't go 100%, and we've talked about this nauseously. And if you want to go 100%, that's great. And again, I'm looking at you going, wait a minute, you have some injuries. Why do you have these injuries? Well, because you think you don't have to take days off. You think you can go 100% 24/7.
Exactly.
And when you bring in these clients, these new people, he trains all the very big celebrities, and so he's got to take really good care of them. But at the same time, when they come in, the first thing you do is like 10 sets of 20 on squats, and then over to sumo deadlifts and superset, and then an hour of cardio at 170. You just bust them out, right? First day?
No, of course not. Not like that crazy.
No.
No. You gotta, ease them in there. It's not beneficial if I break them down the first day and then next thing you know they can't move or anything, and if the form is shitty, then there's no point on actually like breaking them down.
So, again,
There's no benefit to going that hard at the beginning.